The 7 things you should be talking about today. Number 7.
All right, folks, I am very sorry to announce to you today that this is the last episode of News and Views. Some of you will be very excited about that. Some of you will not be very excited about that. I will leave it to everyone else to tell you what's going to be replacing it. But here is the reality of the situation in which I find myself. I have been drafted into a situation where I will be hosting a show in Chattanooga, and I can no longer do this show. Now, luckily for me and my family, I do not have to move out of Huntsville or any of those things. My Huntsville show will continue on WVNN, and they're paying me more for it. So it is what it is. This is the reality of the business in which we operate. So News and Views comes to an end. Who is to blame for this? Me. If you're mad about this, blame me. If you're happy about it, give credit to Andrew McLean. Okay, give credit to Andrew McLean. Give him all the credit in the world. We'll talk more about this as we move through the program. But yes, that is a very sad piece of news that we will start the program with.
Number 6.
Alabama United States Senator Katie Britt and Florida Representative Kat Cammack have announced the Republican Women's Caucus at the White House yesterday, with President Donald Trump lauding Britt's influence, including her pivotal advice on IVF policy, with Trump stating of himself, ready for this? Are you ready? This is going to be a Trump impression. Here we go. I'm still very proud of it. I don't care. I'll be known as the fertilization president, and that's okay. I'll fertilize all the eggs by myself. He didn't actually say the last part, but he is very proud of himself for doing this and says he's going to be the fertilization president. So there we go. That's interesting. The caucus, comprising of all GOP women in Congress, seeks to amplify conservative female voices, focus on prosperity and safety, and family-oriented policies, as Britt emphasized its role in building Trump's coalition. And this is a great thing. These are great people to lead this up. If you're looking to grow the party's base, use these two and do just that.
Number 5.
Federal authorities, backed by the Trump administration, arrested 24-year-old Henry Villatoro Santos in Woodbridge, Virginia, identifying him as a top MS-13 leader who joined the gang when he was, ready for this, 13. Attorney General Pam Bondi and FBI Director Kash Patel praised the operation, with Patel saying, ready for this? And he's right. And I don't have a Patel impression. This is what happens when you let good cops be cops. Santos is charged with illegal firearm possession after FBI SWAT found guns and MS-13 signs in his home. He was nabbed in a dawn raid, prompting White House and Trump celebrations of enhanced public safety. So they're going after these guys. And by the way, Glenn Youngkin, the governor of Virginia, said that the Biden administration wouldn't even give him a list of these people. Wouldn't help him at all. And now people are actually taking this seriously.
Number 4.
After the Alabama Public Library Service paused $42,000 in annual funding to the Fairhope Public Library over 35 books labeled, quote, sexually explicit, end quote, by state officials, a first for the state, by the way, the library magically decided that it might be time to review some sexually explicit books and stop listening to fringe groups like Read Freely Alabama, an organization with 0 victories, but tons of media attention because the media loves them. Mayor Sherry Sullivan and the library board are weighing a review set for April 21st, prompted by John Wall, who's been on this program numerous times, who's leading up the Alabama Public Library Service, and said remove the content. Just remove the content and you can have your money back. And that is what has caused all of this in the first place. These people don't want to listen to their communities. They think they're above all of this, and now they're learning they're not.
Number 3.
U.S. Representative Terry Sewell, Democrat from Birmingham, blasted President Donald Trump's new executive order requiring government-issued proof of citizenship to vote. Now, a lot of questions about how this is going to be handled, but she called it a power grab, which is just, what a weird thing to say. She called it a power grab designed to, ready, disenfranchise and intimidate voters. How? Good Lord, can someone in the media go to her and go, how? Does this disenfranchise and intimidate voters? The Alabama Democrat accused Trump of disregarding the Constitution and promised to pass the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act to counter what she sees as an attack on democratic principles by a, quote, wannabe dictator and extremist like Elon Musk. Terry Sewell's gone crazy, right? Like she's gone insane. Am I right about this? She's gone nuts, right?
Number 2.
U.S. Representative Barry Moore, Republican out of Enterprise, took to X to support the Trump administration after Atlantic editor Jeffrey Goldberg was accidentally added to a Signal chat, setting off an entire week now of just, oh my God, the sky is falling, oh my God. But anyway, there was a chat with Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, Vice President J.D. Vance, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, talking about Houthi rebel strikes, claiming it contained no classified info. This is Barry Moore, and showcased Trump's effective response where Biden failed. They're taking decisive action. That's what this is really about. Moore countered Democratic criticism of the platform security by emphasizing the administration's coordination and President Donald Trump's commitment to combating terrorism. And that is exactly what they should be talking about in this case. But they do need to figure out exactly how this guy got added and take him out. That last part is my commentary. And that's what needs to be found out. Who added Jeffrey Goldberg? Fire that person.
And today's number 1 thing you should be talking about today.
Alabama United States Senator Tommy Tuberville has responded to the arrest of a University of Alabama student, an Iranian doctoral student, Elrizra Daruti. And there are some real issues here. There are some real issues here that the media seems to think are non-issues. They're very upset about the idea, and this is what they're trying to say, that these people, these 300 students that have had their visas revoked, it's 300 of them, by the way, have had their visas revoked and are now being picked up. These guys, they're acting like they've had their visas revoked for no reason. They act like it's just happening for fun. This guy's visa was revoked under the Biden administration. Did you know that? Didn't happen with Trump. They just went and enforced the law and arrested the guy who's in the country illegally. The University of Alabama and a bunch of people down there are screaming about, not the university itself, but people at the University of Alabama are screaming about this. They're furious about this, suggesting that this guy has done nothing wrong. Well, here's the deal. They know exactly what he's been doing. Now, they may not think it's a big deal to be working against the interests of the American government, on a visa to be here, even though your visa's gotten revoked. But eventually we're going to learn what this Daruti guy was up to. And I want to know what it is. And all the articles, they cited vague security concerns without details. That's what all the articles say. Either way, Daruti finds himself sitting in a Pickens County jail. And they're trying their best to make it look like this is some sort of vicious assault on freedom. Sorry. Okay? And this is the deal. He's in the country illegally, and I think we're going to find out exactly what he did. And when we find out what he did, understand this. The American media, they could find out that this guy was making Molotov cocktails in his dorm room. They can find that out, and the American media will still be like, yeah, but isn't that free speech now? I mean, isn't that free speech to make Molotov cocktails? He didn't throw them at anybody yet. And I'm not saying that's what's happening here, but that could be what's happening. And the American media will rush to his defense because that is what they do. So Tuberville says, hey, this is a national security issue. And the media says, tell us what he did, or we're going to pretend that he did nothing. 6 months after he got here, his visa was revoked and he stayed. He broke the law. The visa was revoked by the Biden administration. I know the Biden administration was incompetent, but if you're complaining about this, take it up with Joe Biden if you can find out where he is and have a real conversation. Why am I saying that? Go talk to Jill Biden. Maybe she can help you. And Jilly will fill in everything that is going on here. This is fine with me. Pick these guys up. If they're not supposed to be here, pick them up and get them out of here. Anyway, like I said, today is the saddest and fastest hour of radio anywhere on your radio dial. It is the end of the Dale Jackson journey on news and views. I will explain a little bit more later, but I talked about it in the 7 things. Matt Murphy's going to be with us next. Coming up a little bit later, Tori will be with us. We'll do 30 minutes of 10 with him. So get your questions in, and this is your last chance to ask him. If you've got questions for me, about me, or any of that stuff, or just about what's going on in the world, get those questions in right now. Right here. Very simple to do so. 205-545-9950. We'll be right back on the saddest and fastest hour of radio anywhere on your radio dial.
You're listening to News and Views with Dale Jackson.